chose to do my speech on technology and children. My thoughts about it is that technology is having a negative effect on kids in several ways, but we can fix this problem by working together to influence the next generation. Let me preface this argument by saying that technology and new inventions are awesome, and we all use them every day, of course. But immersing young children in technology could prevent kids from developing a skill set outside of the media. So some statistics. Children spend on average about 7.5 hours per day using technology not even related to school. 97% of kids ages 12 to 17 play video games, and that adds up to about 10,000 hours before age 21. So that's the same amount of time spent in middle school and high school combined. Young children are more likely to master technology skills than life skills, and more young children can open a web browser than can swim. So how does this affect children? Too much time with technology can impact a child in a variety of ways. Without physical experiences to broaden kids' horizons, they could lack inspiration and imagination. Kids would rather play a video game with strangers online than play it pretend outside with their best friend or neighbor or whatever. It can also affect their attention span. In the past, children spent a lot of time reading books, which requires intense attention on what you're reading and imagination. Now children watch TV, play on their smartphones, and do homework simultaneously. There have been numerous studies showing that violent video games and movies have a significant impact on a child's sensitivity and compassion for victims of real-life crimes. So in other words, kids become desensitized when they are watching, when they're exposed to like so much violence in games and stuff. One study I found said that kids who sit around all day with technology are depriving themselves of a normal process of brain development, and this brain delay can cause issues with the kid's ability to read. So if you have like really young children, they're actually like, since they're looking at a screen and doing all these different things, they're actually not going to do well in school and like trying to read. So why does this have such a large impact? Kids spend so much time with technology because they're allowed to, and the media produces and promotes more media. Large companies make lots of money taking advantage of Americans' gluttony for pride in having the next big thing. Very few Americans are content with what they have, and this mindset is put into children at a very young age. Technology also has a negative effect on education. As I said, being exposed to screens reduces their brain development and ability to read. It also, the time spent on technology in the classroom takes away from the outdoor activities and experiences. Taking notes on a laptop or tablet has been proven to be not as effective as actually writing the notes by hand. Therefore, a child's writing skills are decreased because their devices have spell checker and grammar checker apps. These apps reduce the thought that kids put into checking their own errors and correcting them. Using calculators in elementary math would teach kids to just press the right buttons to get the right answer instead of actually thinking and working through the problem by hand. So why does it affect kids in school? Teachers in schools are using too much technology and spending too much money on advancing their classrooms. I have already stated that technology contributes to lowering kids' attention span in and out of the classroom. Also, only 30% of schools actually have recess nowadays, so there's more time just in the classroom and where the kids are just having to like sit still and focus on a variety of things rather than just having time to relax and play, which helps with brain development, by the way. Sure, using technology may be fun for kids in the moment, but it doesn't help in the long run. Schools definitely contribute to the problem of kids getting too much screen time. But there is a solution. My thoughts are go back to the basics. Now, we don't have to have like a one-room schoolhouse in the 1800s, but you know, like the picture is right there. The kids are looking at the teacher and they're using a chalkboard and they're actually having, they have notes out and stuff like that. So reducing the kids, like the amount of screen time that they get. Implementing this practically. Parents should limit the amount of screen time that the kids have at home, and they should encourage their kids to play outside. Parents and teachers both should advocate for having recess in schools, and teachers should try to make their kids go on more field trips and encourage their students to handwrite their notes. I think that everyone around children should encourage them to work hard for what they have and what they want, instead of simply finding it on the internet. And the outcomes. Reducing screen time will help kids' minds by forcing them to use their imagination and be inspired by the world around them. In general, kids will get more physical activity, which will reduce the number of childhood obesity cases. Reducing screen time will also help children's hearts, because they'll be taught the value of hard work, trial and error, and contentment in simple things. Less exposure to violent video games could influence children to be more compassionate for victims of crimes, and spending less time with electronics could mean spending more time with face-to-face personal relationships. So less screen time would help children's minds and hearts. In conclusion, technology is negatively affecting children, but we can change this by going back to the basics. Even though technology is great, kids shouldn't be using it in place of real experiences and opportunities. Thomas Edison said that there is no substitute for hard work. I think that he's right, and we should let our nation's kids just be kids. They can learn the value of working hard and doing things the old-fashioned way. Since nothing worth having comes easily, play outside, work hard, and encourage the next generation to do